Welcome back to Grow Joyfully. It's Monday morning and I'm out here in the pasture garden. Well, things look pretty good still. I'm a little bit disappointed, a little bit concerned because I have so many green tomatoes, but they're not ripening up. And I have customers that come to the farm stand that are saying, do you have more of the heirloom tomatoes? Do you have more of the heirloom tomatoes? And I'm like, yes, they're out in the garden and they're absolutely green. So because of the lower temperatures, because of the shorter days, which stands to reason, we're not getting ripe tomatoes. What I'm going to do is try to get some that have any sort of blush to them at all, take them in the house, and hopefully where it's warm, they will start to ripen up better. Take a look at that beautiful tree. It's definitely fall. And I'm also going to try to put some in a big paper bag and put a couple of apples in with them to see if they will ripen up too. We've got this beautiful, incredible evergreen plant. Now, while the tomatoes are supposed to be green, when they're ripe, they'll have some yellow to it. Look at that huge thing. They'll have some yellow to it or some pink streaking, or both. So these are not anywhere ready because when you push on them, they're very firm and they don't give. This one might give a little more. It's definitely the end of the season. Here is, it looks like it's supposed to be a blue Hubbard squash, but it could be a mix between a pumpkin and a blue Hubbard squash. I guess we'll find out. We are just not quite finished here, and the temperatures and the season is saying you are going to be quite finished here very soon. So it's a little bit of a worry. How are your gardens growing? How many of you have just packed it in for the year? I know I'm fighting the whole idea tooth and nail because I love to garden. I love to be outside. I think it's a big part of my life and good mental health. So it's hard for me to have to not be outside and to garden. You can hear the magpie in the background. And that's a big sign of fall. Take a look at that beautiful, those two beautiful orange trees behind the green one and the sun peeping through. That's beautiful to me. I like to take in these sights. So, I'm just sharing with you my concerns as a gardener and noting, here's a Bonnie Best. These things ripened and they're hardly ripe. So slow this year. But my concerns as a gardener and having the year draw to a close. Like I say, I've got tons of green tomatoes, as you can see here. I've got some really big green tomatoes and they're just not ripening up, but there's no telling Mother Nature and the weather what to do. So I'm going to have to try to bring some in, see if I can get some ripened up. Kind of funny how your energy and optimism go with the seasons. I don't know about you, but for me in the spring, I seem to have a lot more energy and a lot more optimism because there's only so much you can do at this time of year. But that's part of gardening. Even though there are a lot of blossoms on these cucumbers, they're just not growing because of the shorter days and the lack of heat, even though it gets up in the high 80s still during the day. There's a cucumber right there. This isn't a bad harvest, but it's not a great harvest, especially the tomatoes. Trying to find some that at least started blushing a little bit. Then I'm going to take them in the house, see if we can get them ripened up. I thought at one point I didn't want to do any more tomato sauce, but I would be happy doing more tomato sauce right now. These poor bedraggled tomatoes that we've propped up are looking just like that, bedraggled. But man, there are tons and tons of tomatoes on there. The size of this Aunt Ruby's German green. Absolutely no ripening or blushing. Looks like some of these fell off. I'm going to take them in the house. Look at those. And see if we can get any of them to ripen up. I'll keep an eye on my little Paul Robeson here. I really want to get more out of that. So I'm going to have to start doing videos in the house. And that's fine. But that requires for me to be totally showered and fixed up, and the kitchen to be totally clean, which takes a long time to get done. You can't just kind of go outside and film, but that's the way it is. My husband has been putting straw, chicken manure, and ash from the burn pile on this part of the garden. We're going to try to amend and add to all the soil that we can. That's a very important thing that you need to do every year for your garden. I think we need to really enjoy these sunflowers while they're still growing and beautiful. Take a look at this one. There's a bee that's really busy right now, pollinating. Like an amaranth seeded itself over here. You don't want to let that stuff get out of hand, because these are all seeds. And when the wind blows, we'll spread them everywhere. It gets really big, strong stalks, so I recommend you don't let amaranth get out of control at all. Here's another beautiful one. I wish I knew the name of them and I would tell you, but they don't have a tag, so that's not possible. But just their bright, cheerful yellow color, especially in the sun, is so sweet. Here's an upside down shot of a sunflower that is heavy and drooping. And it's going to fall over too if we don't get it staked up. I don't think it's ripe and ready to take off yet. Here's another one in the same state. Things are developing, the seeds are developing within it. I love these orange, brownish ones. They're so pretty. Bright Lights Cosmos going strong here. I'm going to gather some more seed today. Here's some that have lighter yellow colors. I don't think I've ever had that before. They usually come out just very, very orange. But you can see the difference between the two. And the last one in the row, so beautiful, bright and sunshiny. I picked quite a few of the Blauhilde beans off of this hoop, and we're gonna get those chopped up, blanched and frozen. They're really delicious, cooked with a little bit of ham or bacon and some onions. I've been making grape juice in the house. Things are slowing down a little bit. It's either totally craziness or there's nothing to do out in the garden, nothing to put up. Feast or famine. But I've really enjoyed this hoop this year. It's the first time it's really grown over completely. Very beautiful. Everything really looks productive still, although not much is coming off of it. Just going to enjoy it for what it is, and then we're going to go over to the main garden, see what we have there. Time to get the chickens fed and watered, and the rabbit too. And here they come. Good morning, girls. Hello there. How are you with your fine headdress? Oh, you want some yummies, don't you? Okay, hang on, hang on. Here you go. Oh, there's your treat. Yummy, yummy, yummy. This chicken right here is a lavender Orpington. And that crazy one there is the white-crested black Polish, a speckled Sussex, a golden sex link. There's an, oh gosh, my brain stopped. An olive egger, yeah, that's what it's called. And then I have several of the Americanas, which are pretty much Easter eggers. And that one is a well summer. There's a brown long leghorn. We've got some Marins and no, I can't remember. Begins with an A. I had a whole bunch of them. I'll put it up on the screen. But I love my girls. An Astrolorp. That's what that one is. And a Marin. And that is a New Hampshire. I love my girls. Aren't those lavender Orpingtons beautiful? The rose garden's looking quite pretty. It often gets neglected, especially the last couple of years, because we've been focusing so hard on growing food and putting it away. But my husband's been working tirelessly on it. It's a lot of upkeep. We made this, boy, I don't know, 15 years ago at least. And it was at a time when we were more into the aesthetics of the place. Yes, we grew gardens and all that, but now with everything going on, especially since our time marker, COVID, 2020, we've been really focusing on what we can grow and put up, growing and stowing. So it is important that we take time to stop and smell the roses, literally. But I just wanted to show you the rose garden today. It is far from weedless and far from perfect, but still a place of beauty. I'm in the main garden right now, and it is getting really warm, which is good for the tomatoes. I'm not complaining. We had a few blackberries come back and ripen. That is exciting. Way too many weeds out here. But I'm just going to take it. I want to get out here and weed eat. It makes it feel so much better. But I only work about half the day. Then I go to my daughter's house to hang out with her and 4 grandkids, because I don't like to be alone anymore. And that's really dumb, because there's a lot of work I could get done. But after losing my mom, my world is awfully different, and I have to take it as I go. It's not even been 4 months yet, so I haven't been out here in the main garden to pick for several days, and I am seeing a lot of cucumbers, and I'm loving it. The sun is warm on my face, almost a little too warm for comfort, but again, I'm not complaining, because it won't happen for that long. I've got the big sprinklers going on the yard, because our water is going to be shut off within days. That always makes me panic, because then the grass just has to dry up, and the flowers, unless we water by hand from the house. It's a good time of year. It's a tough time of year. The growing season's drawing to a close, and I'm trying to keep everything alive and watered. Since the day or two we had of rain during the worst part of the fires up there, we haven't had a drop of rain, and we rarely do. It's always like this, always very warm and dry. So as you can imagine, the irrigation from the canal water that comes from our local dam is extremely important to us, or this would all be a very dry desert, because it's a semi-arid desert anyway. So there's a lot of watering to do, things to try to keep up with. I'm going to move this Barry's Crazy Cherry into the greenhouse. We still have a few more grapes to do. Oh, and when the sprinkler goes, Lucy goes crazy, especially if it hits the fence post or something. We've got a ton of ground cherries. But here comes the sprinkler over here on me. But at least it's getting the blackberries and the Marionberries and the skinny beds over there. Plus the brassicas. So things look a little bedraggled. But I'm telling you that I'm loving the sun. I'm ready to be with family. I'm going to finish up here, get cleaned up, and head out to my daughter's. I see a bunch of dragon tongue beans here, and I'm pretty excited about that. They are so yummy. They're quite tender, slightly sweet, not real sweet, but yummy, and so good when baked in the oven with avocado oil, seasonings, and Parmesan cheese. They're quite amazing. They're a bush bean. Oops, here comes the sprinkler. Oh, look at these. Some of them can get really long, and they don't get tough like a lot of beans do. So how's that? That's beautiful. I think I'm going to take a few minutes to just sit down in Ruthie's pavilion and enjoy the sights, sounds, and smells, especially the smells of the grapes. They're so beautiful. I hope you've had a lovely day so far, and I hope the rest of your day is absolutely wonderful. I'd like to get out here and harvest some more herbs. I know I have parsley. Maybe some more sage is ready. Even though these things are getting watered, they sure look droopy. But it is that time of the year. So I have lots of parsley, some sage, waiting on the chamomile, and the feverfew. I found a little bit of cilantro here yesterday. I need to get some more. Finally, another flower for the chamomile. We just need another week. Keep going, keep going. Anyway, enjoying the beauty of the fall, the beauty of the day, and I hope you are too. You have a lovely day, and don't forget to do it joyfully. We'll see you next time. Thanks for stopping by.